If you bought a Glock 43x or a Glock 48 and you want to reduce the snappiness of this small gun, the best way to do that is going to be a compensator. At the end of this video, if you determine you want a compensator, we actually have a bundle on the site where you can buy a barrel and a compensator for 10% off. So if you're interested, go check that out. One of the best things about the HG43 is that it's only $90 and it works with regular threaded barrels. And the reason that is nice is because in the future, you can run a suppressor on this build. I know that sounds a little bit silly running a suppressor on a subcompact handgun, but it really is a lot of fun. And it's really nice to have the versatility in the future. With this compensator, we opted to use our set screw design. This has been proven for us. It's worked really good for the last 7 years of the company. This system makes it really easy to install and uninstall this compensator. You don't need a vise, you don't need a bunch of tools. So it makes it really easy to pull this compensator off when you want to throw a can on or to deep clean your handgun. Important note about these set screws is they actually make contact with the barrel behind the threads. They're not contacting the barrel threads, so you're not going to damage the barrel threads on the barrel itself. You'll be able to use this in the future. Sometimes you do get little dimples on the shoulder, but that's not going to affect anything. So now you're probably wondering why there are ports on the side as well as the top of this compensator. At Herrington Arms, we've been trying to reduce the two elements of recoil, which is going to be the muzzle flip, which the top port fights, and the in-the-hand felt recoil, which the side ports try to reduce. We've been throwing side ports on compensators since the beginning. We took the inspiration from muzzle brakes on rifles, and I think if anybody who shot a muzzle brake on a rifle is going to know right away that it works really well. And it works the same for handguns. It reduces a lot of that punchiness of a handgun, which you really need in smaller guns like the Glock 43x. This port size is incredibly proven. We've shot tens of thousands of rounds through this port geometry, which is on a lot of our other different compensators. Reliability has been at the forefront of our attention making compensators, especially for carry guns like the Glock 43x. So now we need to talk about the two different options we offer with the HG43. We have the finned version, which you can see here, and we have the no fin. Really, we designed the finned version to fit all OEM Gen 5 slides like the 43x and the 48. One thing to keep in mind here is the Glock 43 will require the no fin, and the reason that is because the fins on here morph around the front of the slide. These nose cuts are rather large, that's why we made the fins to give it a seamless integration. And we recommend the no fin for the 43 or any aftermarket slides. A lot of the aftermarket slide companies are not putting the same nose cut like the OEM Glock slide, so you're gonna have to run a no fin, and really the compensator is almost identical. We just removed the fins off the back to make it a little bit more universal. And a side note, it also works on the PSA micro dagger if you prefer the aesthetic of the HG43 over the HG micro dagger comp that we already offer. On top of the two different variants, we also offer this in black and FDE. So if you have an FDE Glock 43x build, you are not going to be left out. One thing of note is this compensator is made of 7075 aluminum, which is incredibly durable material. We've had zero issues with 7075. We also anodize it, which makes it even harder. So this is an incredibly durable product that doesn't weigh a lot. It only is a matter of a few ounces, which is incredibly important for reliability. The length of this comp is 7/8 of an inch, fin or no fin, which is really nice. We made this as small as we possibly could with still having a reliable and effective compensator. One thing that's really nice about this added length is it's not going to fog up the window on your weapon light, especially if you're running a TLR7 sub. The muzzle actually protrudes past the weapon light on here, so I don't know if you've ever shot a gun without a compensator on it and a weapon light. This gets absolutely disgusting after a few hundred rounds, and it's really hard to clean that carbon off. One of the side benefits of a compensator, you don't need to worry about that. With the HG43 being the same profile as the slide on this gun, you're not going to need to worry about holster fitment. This will fit right through an open front holster. However, if you have a closed front holster, you will need to modify it and open it up so that compensator can pass through. If you do not do that, the gun will not sit fully in the holster and your trigger will not be protected. So make sure if you run a closed front holster that you do modify it. If you're looking for holster recommendation, Tier 1 makes amazing holsters. You can also check a box to leave the front open for compensators and it will work great. As I mentioned earlier, we are fully focused on reliability with our products. We made this as reliable as we possibly could. We've tested this with all the different grains of ammo we could get our hands on, from light loaded stuff all the way up to plus P, and we haven't had any issues. We spent a lot of time and money testing this compensator so that you could have full faith in the product. This gun was designed to run on the OEM springs as well, so you don't need to buy a DPM recoil reduction kit. It's gonna run great with your current setup. If you do have issues, however, we have top tier customer service. We try to get back to people within a matter of minutes or hours. So if you have a problem, definitely reach out to support@herringtonarms.com. So taking a look at the recoil numbers and the effectiveness of this compensator, we really only have one way to test this, and that is going to be testing in our ransom rest the actual muzzle flip of the compensator and handgun. This compensator reduces roughly 30% of recoil, and again, that is only going to be the muzzle flip. We have a hard way of telling the actual in-the-hand felt recoil reduction but it is pretty evident whenever you shoot this that it is going to reduce the in-the-hand felt recoil. Hopefully in the future we'll have a way to test this, but just know it is going to at least reduce the 30% of muzzle flip you're feeling, which out of this tiny handgun is very beneficial. The Glock 43x and most subcompact guns on the market are really snappy. And don't forget, if you guys want a really nice threaded barrel and compensator, we have them on the site right now, 10% off if you buy both at the same time. So go check that out. Otherwise, if you guys learned something in this video, we'd appreciate a like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.